Hi, I'm Austin Hanson, and you're watching the Tiger Highline Online.
Many of you may have heard about the recent University of Northern Iowa budget cuts. Here's a story by Austin Hanson.
The state legislature has made cuts to all of the major universities in the state of Iowa. The school who is suffering the most from these cuts is UNI.
Well, a couple weeks ago, President Allen announced that there are going to be some cuts to UNI to help us with our budget gap that's been going on for a number of years, and we keep getting cut by the state legislature. So in order to make sure that UNI can continue to operate, some cuts had to be made. Previously they've been a little tiny across the board cuts where everyone kind of gets affected just a little bit, but we're to the point now where you have to start making strategic decisions.
It is obvious that things have changed over the past few decades at UNI, and now the university must accommodate for these changes.
We had a nice boom time during the 80s and 90s. Enrollment was way up. So the university expanded. Well, now our enrollment's down a little bit from that time, and our state funding has dropped drastically, and so we can't really afford to keep everything just the way it has been for the last couple of years.
Students of UNI have different opinions on the situation, as there is no obvious win-win scenario.
I guess I just think that everyone should try and band together and think of what's best for the university and for the community, and I think that might have to be closing Price Lab.
There are no winners of budget cuts. We just have to do what we have to do in this situation. I mean, if we don't have the money, we can't afford to do some things.
It's sad, but I also think that if the legislature is going to reprimand UNI for closing it and say that we need to keep it open, then the legislature should pay for it, because UNI doesn't have the funding with the cuts that they're giving us.
We definitely want to maintain our reputation as a college of education. It's just a matter of how to do that with or without the lab school, or how we can maintain that. So I don't know, it's kind of a time of uncertainty, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
President Ben Allen has announced the different areas that would suffer from the funding cuts.
That he would be recommending the closure of Price Lab School, a $500,000 cut to athletics, print services are closing down, the museum, something close to 80 academic programs that would be closed down as well.
The UNI Museum has been greatly affected by the cuts, as they will be forced to close this summer.
Well, right now, the museum is scheduled to close to the public on June 30th, 2012. It will still be an entity of the university. However, most of the collection will be in storage.
The museum has been an essential part of the university for years.
Museums are an important part of education, not just for study and research, but for learning. We're just unfortunate that we're not in that great of a building, and it's unsafe for those objects. So we have to close the building, and because of budget cuts, we can't afford to find new space or have a new one. It would be helpful if you wrote administration, write to your local representatives and legislators in support of us, and come and visit. Come and visit us before we close. We want to see everyone.
I think that UNI is having to make some tough decisions right now, and I think that we're kind of going through a rough patch, but I think if everyone just kind of pulls together and supports each other, we'll get through it and come out all the stronger for it.
Are you hungry for a good movie? Hunger Games is in theaters now. Here's a story by Lisa, Emily, and Christina.
When it was originally published in 2008, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins had a warm welcome. With many tickets already pre-ordered, both the Crossroads and College Square theaters are preparing for the film's midnight showing.
We do have some contests planned. We're finalizing the details. We're planning on doing a popcorn eating contest, and possibly something where we set up a little bow and arrow set and have a contest where customers can win some different things. Yes, we have had a couple hundred tickets bought at a time already. We do have reserved seating on our ultra screen, so a lot of people they want to get their tickets early to make sure they pick out the seat that they want.
The library has put up a display out in the hallway that has a lot of pictures and some symbols or things that relate to each of the characters, and then the bulletin board just inside the door of the library has a trivia game. All the questions are up there, and then actually the pictures or the answers are also posted up there.
I'm excited for the characters to come to life. I always love it when they make movies out of books because, I don't know, I just like it. Usually the movies aren't as good, but I have really high expectations for this one.
A few months after the book was released, impressed librarians and English teachers were watching on as middle and high school students began devouring the first installment of the trilogy. 4 years later, and The Hunger Games has a large fan base and a movie adaptation set to release Thursday, March 23rd. So, will you be among the devoted fans flocking to the theater Friday morning? This is Emily Peck and Lisa Morales reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Have you heard about the bald eagles north of town? Here's the story by Drew, Garrett, Richie, Kyle, and Jacob.
You have probably noticed the eagles gathering by Brown Bottle. Chris Anderson of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board explains why these eagles like to gather in this area.
They congregate near water because fish die in the wintertime. Low oxygen levels, cold temperatures cause them to get sick and die, and so it's really easy for them to catch those fish when they're floating on the surface. A little bit of life left in them, but haven't quite given up the ghost yet, and so they can swoop down and grab those because they're right near the surface. If you go out to Big Woods Lake in the past couple weeks, you're going to see a lot of fish floating on the surface and lots of eagles flying around above them.
Despite the attention the eagles are attracting, their population may not actually be rising.
So, we get people talking all the time about how there's more eagles this year than there have been in years past, and we have roughly the same populations of eagles from year to year. It might be up a little bit or down a little bit, but if you were to look at it on a chart, you're not going to get big fluctuations. It's going to be fairly level with slight rises and dips. And just different people are noticing them, and people were noticing them longer this year because we had a really mild winter.
Maybe one day the eagle population will be soaring again. This has been Drew,
Garrett, and Richie,
along with Kyle and Jacob, reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
With the weather heating up, lots of Cedar Falls students are starting to ride their mopeds. Here's the story by Drew, Andy, Clint, and Joey.
With the nice weather and gas prices on the rise, mopeds and motorcycles have become more common at Cedar Falls High School. Junior Carl Kramer talks about his moped.
I ride my moped because it's really fun to do in the summer with your friends who also have mopeds, and it saves me a lot of money on gas. Like instead of filling up my car for $50, I just pay about $3 and I can still go for about a week.
This has been Joey Dobson reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Thanks for watching this week of the Tiger Highline Online. Subscribe to our channel and check out all of our students' podcasts here on the other channels linked below.